Hi guys, so I'm 39 weeks tomorrow. I just came out of my doctor's appointment. I'm sorry if I feel or like sound weird or just like out of it. It's just, I'm just so annoyed with, I'm not annoyed, but it's like, I don't know. I guess you can kind of say I'm annoyed, but not really, but a little bit. So basically, last week when I went to my appointment, or was it 2 weeks ago? I go to my appointments every week now, but I believe 2 weeks ago, I went to an appointment and Shorty was talking about scheduling an induction for when I'm for 39 weeks, and I told her no. Like, I straight up told her no, and Riley was in the room with me because he followed me to that appointment, and she was like, okay, because, you know, some women, you know, they want to schedule their induction for that week because they want the baby out. I said no, right? And then I come to my appointment last week. They checked my cervix, and I wasn't, or was it that week? I think that week they checked my cervix. And yeah, so 2 weeks ago they checked my cervix. That same appointment, she mentioned that, and I was like 100% closed. She even had to search for the cervix, and she was like, yeah, you're not even dilated, like 100% closed. I was like, okay. Then last week I went, maybe it was fine, they didn't check my cervix, but today, because I'll be 39 weeks tomorrow, they checked my cervix again to see if I started to dilate. Mind you, my first time around with Rosella, my OB in New York never checked my cervix. So this cervix checking nonsense and like seeing if I'm dilated, okay, it's not nonsense, but I'm not used to it. I don't like it. So she asked me last week if I wanted her to check it again. I said no. She said, okay, we'll just check it next week when you're at 39. I said, bet. My cervix is still 100% closed, no dilation at all, and she had to like search for it again, right? And I don't like it. I don't like how it feels. So she started talking about induction again, and I was just looking at her like she was crazy, and I was like, I don't want that. And then she had me explain to her how I went into labor for the 4th time. I mean, I could understand me having to repeat myself because you have a bunch of other patients, but I told her like everything happened for me with Rosella all in less than 24 hours. Like, all in less than 24 hours. I think it was like 16 hours. My mucus plug shedded around 6:30 p.m. My due date was on the 28th, right? I'm not even on my due date yet, and you keep talking about induction. Let me finish that story first and I'll tell y'all about my birth experience with Rosella. But because I'm just talking all over the place. So she was like how we need to have the baby out before 41 weeks. So she told me to next week I'll come again and we'll do an ultrasound, and she'll do the regular appointment stuff. I'm not sure if she's going to check if I'm dilated again or not next week. Who knows? But we're doing an ultrasound next week. And then she said if nothing's happening or if I did not have baby yet by the by next week, because then I'll be 40 weeks basically, then we need to schedule an induction to have baby before 41 because she doesn't want me to hit 41. So I'm gonna try to be slick with it. I think he's gonna come, like with Rosella, her due date was the 28th and I had her on the 29th, and it wasn't even the whole day of the 29th. I had her in the morning on the 29th, right? And on the 28th I was off. I made sure I was off on my due date day, and my mucus plug shedded around 6:30 p.m. that day, and I went to the hospital. I left my house around 4:30 in the morning and got to the hospital by 5 a.m. on the 29th. Everything happened super quickly, and I gave birth at 10 a.m., right? So I was at the hospital for 5 hours and gave birth within those 5 hours. So everything happened for me within less than 24 hours, like 16 hours. I understand some people are dilated like for a month or weeks before they actually give birth. But if my body just dilates and gives birth in a short period of time, then just allow my body to do it now. So I think he's gonna come. All right, so based on like earlier ultrasounds that I did, ultrasound tech would say that he's measuring like 3 to 4 days earlier than the written due date. Obviously they're gonna keep the written due date, but I always kept that in mind because I was like, okay, so if his written due date is the 4th, but he's measuring a couple days earlier, it's like the 1st or the 4th. So my next appointment is on the 3rd and his written due date is the 4th. So if he doesn't come by the 1st, right, and I get to my appointment next week on the 3rd, and she wants to schedule an induction for before the 11th, because the 11th I would be 41 weeks. I'm gonna see if I can be slick with it and try to schedule the induction like the 9th or the 10th, because then it, like, you know, it gives him some time. I want him to have time. And technically it's before the 41 weeks. Because what if he decides to come on the 5th or the 6th? Rosella was scheduled on the 28th and she came the morning of the 29th. Like, just give my body time, you know? I don't want an induction. I really don't want an induction. I'm like, contractions are already painful in itself, and I don't want them to load me up with Pitocin and shit, and that's gonna be like 1,000 times more painful. And then, like, what if stuff starts happening to me? Like, what if I don't react well, or baby doesn't react well on Pitocin, and then he doesn't even come out? Then what is that? He doesn't come out with the Pitocin. I'm doing bad, he doing bad. What, now we gotta rush into a C-section or something? I don't want any of that at all. So yeah, this is how my 2020, what the hell am I saying? This is how my call it 39, because I'm 39 weeks tomorrow. 39 week appointment is going, y'all. I'm kind of annoyed. I just feel like my son knows I'm not ready for him to be born yet. And then I feel like my babies just come out on their due dates, you know, or like around it, or the day after. Just allow my body to do it. Stop trying to, you know, talk about induction. I mean, I know they need to have backup plans and shit like that, but we were talking about induction when I was 37 weeks. Why? I don't want it. And then Rosella's birthday is in, let's say today's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, in 3 days. So I'm also trying to get that together, you know? I don't want to come on her birthday. But I feel like my son knows I'm trying to get her birthday figured out and like put together, and then I still didn't even pack my hospital bag or anything like that. So, you know, I feel like he knows that I'm low-key not ready and I don't want him to come out yet. Just cook until you're full 40 weeks and then you can come, when like all this extra things is out of my mind. And don't forget, I'm still working full-time. Still working my 8.5-hour shifts. So I be busy. I be on my feet. There's a lot going on in my head. And then this lady keeps talking about induction. So yeah, guys, that's my update.